Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Business Sharks program. First, let me give you an overview and then we'll go kind of through lesson by lesson. So first, an overview. Business Sharks is obviously based on the television program Shark Tank. And so students are doing something similar to what folks on the show do. That is, they're creating a business or business and product. They're planning it out. And then in the final class, they're going to pitch it to 3 sharks that we have come in to the classroom. In most cases, the sharks are 3 parents, and I'll be handling the emailing to get the sharks to come in on that final class. And during the final class, we usually devote about 40 minutes to the Shark Tank presentations. That we introduce the concept of a big idea that the kids are going to come up with for their business. They can work alone or with a partner, and they're going to, after they hear about this idea of a big idea, they're going to come up with their own idea for a business and product. We also introduce the idea of a twist for businesses. The idea here is that when students come up with the idea for their business, they're going to give it like a little twist, and we talk about some famous businesses that did that. For instance, we use the example of McDonald's and how at the time you had to go in and sit down and order a hamburger. Their twist was fast food, which hadn't really been done before. So they play a little game that I will walk the students through in the video, where they take some famous businesses and they have to write down the twists on a sheet that looks like this. Then with a partner or by themselves on a sheet that looks like this, they're going to write down their idea for a business and product. We talk at some length in the video about how to make the pairings. They're going to try to make teams up themselves if possible. Kids can work alone or in teams of 2. They shouldn't work in teams of 3, and we kind of walk them through that process. If any students are kind of struggling to find a partner, that's where you want to step in and kind of help out and see if you can get teams together that make sense. Next, we introduce the concept of a business plan poster. We talk a bit about business plans, and we go through each of the sections of the poster with the students. They'll have a graphic organizer that looks like this. It shows them exactly what to do in each section of the poster. One thing that can be very helpful, we give you the posters as part of the materials that we give you. They're quite large. They're 22 by 28 inches. If you can take a Sharpie and just box off the different sections of the poster, that's really helpful for the kids. There should be some downtime during the first class to do that. It only takes 20 or 30 seconds per poster. You're probably not going to need that many because a lot of the kids work in pairs. Next, the students are going to create a model of their business using Legos. As is mentioned in the directions to the students, they should use a half of a base plate to build their business on. The other half can be for like a parking lot or a garden or something additional to their business. The other thing to know about when we use Legos in this class, or really in any of our classes, is they're also going to add some index card signs to their business, as you see here in this picture. Make sure that you talk with me about the procedure for keeping the Legos intact, because it usually takes more than one class for them to finish those, and you're going to need to have them stored somewhere. Then we talk with the students about finding a location for their business on Google Earth. So this is where you're going to use the website Google Earth on your teacher laptop and have students come over and use the Google Earth program to find a location for their business. As it talks about in the video, you're going to kind of give a ballpark estimate for what you think the rent would be per month at the business. When they choose a location, be really like matter of fact, like, oh yeah, that would be $1,250 a month or what have you, as if you kind of know the exact figure. And they're going to choose a location for their business. It could be like an empty lot, or they could choose like a storefront somewhere where they want to locate their business. It could really be in any city that they want. So as the students are working over the course of a few classes, you're going to call them up either in pairs, or if someone's working alone, call them up one at a time to do the Google Earth project on the teacher laptop. It may take a few classes to get everyone up to the teacher laptop. You don't have to do it all in one class. Then we talk about some different types of advertisements that companies use. You show them some actual magazine ads as well as some videos of TV commercials. All of that's embedded in the video, so there's really nothing you have to do there except play the video. And then the students are going to work on their own print magazine ad for their business. Just like on the poster with the magazine ad, you want to really push kids to do their best work, have them go back, add color, less white space, fancy writing. They want to make it look really nice. And you can refer back here to the sharks and how the sharks are going to be coming and judging their business, and you want the businesses to look really nice for the sharks. For the TV commercials, we show them a lot of examples for what those should look like. First, they're going to write out a script of their TV commercial. Make sure that they add in the stage directions like we talk about with them in the video, of like what the student should do as well as what they should say. They can work as a group of two, or they could borrow a third person from another group to help them out with their TV commercial and write that person into the script as well. With both the TV commercials and the magazine ads, they should be able to say what their type of commercial it is. So we talk about like celebrity endorsements, comparison ads, testimonials. They should be able to say, oh yeah, this is a comparison ad. If they can't, you want to go back and push them to choose one of the types that we've talked about. After they've practiced their TV commercial, first they write their script, then they practice the commercial. Then if you have time, if you can kind of watch them do their commercial after they've practiced it a few times, and give them some pointers or directions or how to make it even better, that would be great. Sometimes teachers have plenty of time to do this. Sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming, so do it if you have time. In the final classes, sometimes the students can get a little bit spread out, and that some students have like finished everything and other kids are like a little bit behind if they work a little slower. That's fine. We've built in a couple of additional activities for students to do that are described in the video that they can do if they're way ahead or finishing early. As students approach the end of the class, they're getting ready for the Shark Tank performances. It's really helpful if the kids can do like a practice run of their performance. We talk a lot about that, and we give them some public speaking pointers on the video as well. If you can have them kind of practice like in different parts of the room, like you hang up their poster and you have them practice a dry run of their performance, it does like really help when the sharks get there. So let me talk about the final Shark Tank performance. The sharks will come in. You want to set up like a desk towards the front or a table where the three sharks will sit. So you're going to have like the performance area where the sharks sit, and then everybody else, like any other parents who show up, plus the kids in the class, sit in the audience behind the sharks. So you have the students come up and give their presentation. Hopefully they've practiced by now. You'll have to tape up the poster board and their magazine ad, and have their Lego storefront ready to display. So in between each group performing, you might have 2 or 3 minutes downtime while you switch out all of that stuff and put in the poster and Lego and magazine ad for the new group. During the performance itself, you want to be an active participant. So you're going to stand like in the back of the room, and you kind of want to coach them through the performance. Some kids will just know exactly what to do and they'll give their performance flawlessly, but for other kids you may want to interject periodically. Like if they're struggling, you could say, okay guys, can you show us your Lego store now? Or okay, let's move on to our magazine ad. For some kids that are just going way too fast, you might need to slow them down a little bit. Like, oh, before you move on to that, can you show us your budget for your business, that kind of thing, and slow them down. So you're kind of an active participant, interjecting little quick stage directions to help the kids out. They will also have a list that we give you that you'll kind of post up somewhere where they can see, like on the front of the shark desk, so they can see it and the sharks can't, which will walk them through each thing they're supposed to do in case they forget. So that's usually pretty helpful. After the students give their Shark Tank presentation, they're going to take 3 questions, one from each of the sharks, and try to answer those questions the best they can. And then you're going to say something like, round of applause for Jimmy and Sarah, and then everyone applauds, and then the next group comes out. Sometimes people who have seen the TV show want to do like bidding and like investing and all that kind of thing. We don't really do that part of the Shark Tank.
So you're selling the
It's really just a celebration.
and then donuts in the
Students have
store.
done, and some questions
So,
from the sharks.
okay.
Lastly, you'll have all the kids gather with their posters and the sharks behind them, and you'll take a photograph of everybody together.